Hello guys, the Wings Mobile Detailing Podcast. Today we're on the business topic here with Arsalan Karimi.
What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about why growth in business doesn't always mean profit.
But it should eventually.
It should.
Yes. Stay with the introduction and we'll be back.
Welcome to the Wings Mobile Detailing Business and Automotive Podcast, the only podcast that will guide you on how to start and grow six-figure companies. As our team expand from one business location to worldwide domination, you will get step-by-step insights from a millennial franchisor and franchise owner with your host, Andre Mezzalera.
All right, we're back talking on the business topic for anybody who owns a business and has noticed that, especially the beginning stages of business, when they're profiting really well. If they're going out there, they usually start in the front line or self-employed or actually with the intentions of growing a big business. But the profit comes out high in the beginning. And that is a problem because it doesn't stay the same after 1 or 2 years in and 3 years in. Profit lowers and you start to think, what's wrong with the business? Like, why am I not profiting the same again? Is it something wrong? That's also consequence. That's also a reason why most business owners, they give up in the first 5 years of business.
It happens to a lot of businesses. It's definitely happened to our business as well. So there's going to be a little bit of a personal element to this. We're going to go over why. There's so many different reasons why when you're growing, your profits might not be going up, or they might actually be going down. So we're going to go over that right now.
Yeah, we talked about there at the restaurant today, because we actually had the personal. We have that experience. We're living it. We're living it as Wings Mobile Detailing, and I remember the beginning when, as we were growing, and we both, for your location, for our location, we've been noticing that what is wrong. But the good thing about that, we didn't give up. Because we wouldn't give up, right?
Obviously
not. But
this is Wings.
It's also because we understand from other big guys, other business owners that we always mention on the show, that they go through the same thing, and that is normal. That is normal because you're investing back in the company, and sometimes maybe you're profiting less when you're. Normally, this will only occur if the business, your intentions is to grow a big business, right? When you're growing big.
Yeah, and it's totally normal. Sometimes it's just a phase, like you're just going through a phase where you're investing your either profits back into the business in order to grow it, or sometimes you have a lot of initial costs in order to grow, so that can hurt your profits as well. But if it becomes a long period of time where you're not making profits, then that's obviously a problem. So it's basically it's okay if it's for a short period of time. That's what we went through. When you grow, there's a lot of initial expenses. I mean, growing takes money.
It does. So
it can hurt you a little bit in the short run, but over a couple years, or for some people in the first few months, you can pay back really well.
And keep persisting too. That's I'm gonna say it on. I'm thinking about personal. What's going on right now. I know that I have just to keep persisting on it. Yeah. Like keep doing that thing and always watching out. Okay, where are the mistakes? Where is the hole in the bucket? Yeah. Where is the water coming out from? Yeah. And fix those little holes. And eventually, if you really focus on that thing, it's not going to happen right away. It's not like you're going to profit from one time, because it's normal not to profit.
Right. Yeah.
But got to always keep persistent, keep doing it, keep growing, investing back in the business, and one day you might make it. That's how entrepreneurship is. You don't know.
Yeah. No. So we're going to go over some of the examples that cause you to not realize that many profits or that much in profits initially. The first one I was going to talk about is, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, is that growing a company takes money. There's a lot of initial costs. For example, for us, we have to hire someone new, train them, and all that takes money, but it's an investment. Your advertising might go up a little bit. Your customers might not be that much more when you're growing initially. Like they might just be as much as a few months before. So your costs are going up, and you have more employees, you have more vans and things like that.
And the system, it's funny because the system you're talking about, like the system just shows up.
Yeah.
It's just extra expenses, actual expenses if you put in the books. it's for us, like I have extra, tracking thing, and then even the taxes, we start to go off accounting systems to make it better.
An extra employee who's not maybe bringing you that much business because he's getting trained the first month or two, and that takes money.
And I remember, like, when we're starting it, we're saving so much more. Like, dude, all the profit. Yeah. And remember, we used to talk about, like, don't get too trapped on that. Don't get too excited. Because later when you're growing the business, the first year, the thing you're profiting, you're saving, and I used to think, man, next year I'm going to be rich if it's that.
Right, yeah.
If it's in that same growth, the profit is growing as it was from the beginning. But then the second year in, that's what I started to realize, and got to always be responsible. It's not always going to be like that, and it should not be like that, actually, if your intentions are to grow. There's
a lot of patience element to it that you have to... For example, us, just like Andre was saying, when it was just me and no one else in the business, I was saving a lot more, and if I continued like that, I would have been able to save a lot. But depends on your goals as well. Andre and I's goal is to capitalize on as much market in our territory as possible. We're trying to dominate. We're trying to be the number one in our area. So it's going to take money to get to that level. If we wanted to just focus on savings in the short term, then we wouldn't have grown. We wouldn't have hired someone new. We wouldn't have bought a new van. We wouldn't have bought new equipment. We wouldn't have paid for more advertising. We wouldn't have done any of that. That's
what I also think, bro, and the second point is, if you are growing a business, but your intention is not to actually grow big and grow medium, you might as well stick with self-employment.
Right.
Because if you're going to stick with the medium, I have a few employees, and you're paying for the system if you're doing everything correct, which you should, based on that. I'm going to grow a medium business. I don't want a business too big, and just a few employees here. And then it's not worth it, because then you're stopped at that stage where you have more expenses, you're not profiting much, compared to the point where you're just small, self-employed, doing it yourself or another helper, putting in your perspective, more for service businesses.
So that's one reason why you might see that is just that there's a lot of initial cost to growing. So that's why maybe you're not realizing profits in that moment. And when that's the problem, then you just have to be patient. For us, it takes a few months when we decide we're going to grow, we put money into it, and it takes a few months for it to start giving us some return. So you might have to be patient. But sometimes this is one of the biggest mistakes, and this is what you've warned me against in the future, and is trying to grow too fast when you don't have the client base, maybe when you're trying to spend a lot of money and have the nicest shop in town when you've barely had time to gather clients.
Yeah.
So
it can also be your fault.
That too. But like you might be forcing it. You might not be ready for a growth. You might not have the client base yet, and you're just spending so much money on growing. And that may be one reason.
That's another topic too. Because when you're growing, if you're doing your own businesses around you, it's going to seem to you that they're growing much faster than you are.
Yeah.
And they're getting that brand new shop. You see online, your competitor or whatever style business you're in, you're going to see that they're growing big, and you start to self-believe that is normal, that's how it's supposed to be. And that's why 95% of businesses fail in the first 5 years, because they all do that, and one person see the other business is spending money on big stuff, and they think it's normal, that's how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah. They don't know the numbers in the background. They just see it in person. Yeah.
And then they fall in the same trap of the 95%. Yeah. That's why it's the 95%.
And one thing you've actually told me before and stuck with me, you said you're not scared of the competitor who's all of a sudden shows up out of nowhere, has the biggest shop, has the lowest prices, gets all the clients out of nowhere, because you know that's not sustainable. But you're scared of the guy who provides quality work and starts in a hole of a shop, like in a like one of the smallest things ever, and works his way up very slowly. And so a lot of people make that mistake. I feel like most businesses make that mistake, is that, oh, I see potential here. Let me just get by.
They see all beautiful signs, beautiful.
Yeah, everything. The nicest business cars, the nicest shop, the nicest equipment, most expensive everything. Yeah. And since you don't have a reputation yet, because you just started, you have to bring your prices down.
It's kind of faking your way to success.
Exactly.
Which success doesn't come like that. Yeah. And it's funny because you're mentioning it, It's so true, bro. Because when I was doing, I have the perception, if I'm seeing somebody, but it's hard to see, you don't see it much nowadays, you know.
Yeah.
But if I'm seeing somebody that has in a shop, for example, or a store, they're selling products and they're in the back, they start in the background and you see them working like crazy.
Yeah.
And I see on the other street a big business, you know, there are a lot of employees who, they both are 5 years into business, but the other one is big. They put high investment. Maybe they already had the initial money, but they put the initial investment to make a beautiful store. People are gonna go to that store because it's more beautiful at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be afraid of the guy who's in the back,
Yeah.
who's working his ass off, because I know he's growing
And he's
with
learning,
a foundation.
Yeah, and he's learning better skills. He knows how to be resourceful versus the guy who just puts all the money into there and just
Exactly. He learns too.
You learn, you learn how to become resourceful. You know how to get the most amount of clients for this little amount of money. So when he grows to be the size of the other person, he knows how to get 10 times more clients than that guy just because he's been through that. So it definitely makes you more creative. It definitely makes you more resourceful if you go down that route. So that's also another big reason why if your profits aren't going up but your revenue is, or you're growing, you could be just
check out
spending.
the holes.
Yeah, you could be either that, or you could be just spending way too much money into growing and not focusing on maintaining your current clients.
Yeah, that was a huge example of a hole in a bucket.
Yeah.
You know, like dripping. Customer service can be a huge hole and I'm guilty of that. Guilty of when like growing the business and you start to lose the personal touch, the customer service that you had from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that is a hole in the bucket. Like we shouldn't justify those holes from the size of the business. Oh, it's normal because the business is growing. No, as we're growing the business, we shouldn't make any other stages of the business, any other areas worse. As we're growing, make sure everything is already working, and it's going to continue to be working greatly as if we're big, that's one of the holes in the bucket.
And another thing you're going to realize is as you grow, your profit percentage, your profits might go up in terms of amount, but your profit percentages go down, and that's completely normal. That's completely, because when we were working, I mean, when you're working alone, you're profiting what, 50, 60, 70, 80%. I don't know, whatever it is for you.
It goes down, and
it goes down a lot, but your revenue goes up by 10 times, and the
profit goes lower than when the revenue was less. So you're kind of like it's mind blowing in a negative way. It's normal, but you feel like, okay, what's wrong? Like with me, it's you know. Before, we both were talking about it. Before it was like we just used to save more. Yeah. And now we're no investing back. But in moments like this, it's good that it happens because these are the moments, the alerting moments. You know, what holes that you have to cover. Right. You know, yes, it is normal for the profit to be less. But also in this moment, I'm like, okay, there's some holes that I have to fix. Some systems right here. Here is something I'm not doing right. I'm not as committed as I used to be. Because you can grow the profit with the business, and we should focus on that, not to justify any lack of action or any problem in the business by this fact that it is normal, because you should always be watching, okay, how can I make anything better? Yeah, so that my profit can be higher.
So yeah, I mean, just to sort of start wrapping it up a little bit, you know, just a few points that Andre and I mentioned is, if you're thinking about growing and you're scared of your profits going down, or you're going through that process right now and you're wondering why your profits aren't there, it's just think about it in a few different ways. Was there a lot of initial costs? If there was, that means your profits are going to realize later. Yeah, so you just have to be patient. Or are you trying to force it? Are you trying to grow too quickly?
And I'll tell you, bro, it's much more amusing when you're growing a business, when you're running a business, when you know that you're not overspending, that you don't have all this back, that you're secure. Okay, the profit is less, but it doesn't mean that I'm going negative.
You're not risking everything.
Yeah, that's not good also. If we're going negative, it's wrong. We're not saying that it's normal. Yeah. And when you're doing that, when you're growing the business in the right way, the stress level goes down because you feel you're growing it by the books, by the way, you know, ethical and everything. And years goes by and you're growing it and you're not used to the glamour, you know, of life, and like you're not a step ahead. and it grows better. It grows, as you grow, you feel more secure, and it's more fun because you can sleep at night.
Just make sure your growing is an investment. You're putting money into the growth, knowing that you're going to get money back. You're not just, you're not hoping. You're not opening up the biggest shop in town, not knowing where the next client is going to come from. So
because many people can also think that those things are anything that goes in the business is an investment. Not really. A lot of things that we commit the mistake of putting in the business thinking it's an investment, it's a liability. Yeah. It's good to try anything, and you're gonna fail. Oh, I put money here, it doesn't work. Putting money here, it doesn't work. Yeah. But it is working because you're growing your knowledge on the market.
Right.
You grow, and inevitably you're gonna grow your knowledge in the market.
So I think that's it from us, guys. You either got to be patient, or you got to keep working the plan, or just be safe in how you grow. Just do a very calculated versus what Andre made an example of. So.
Go after it, see the holes, and if you watch out for the holes, what's missing, and understand that it is normal, and you can personally know to yourself, okay, am I doing my best? Am I not? You're gonna know to yourself. If you feel like you're not, fix those holes. Yeah. And if you do that, even though the profit is less, you're gonna feel much more secure because you're actually gonna grow with a good foundation as the year goes by. It might not seem it. It might not seem like you're growing, especially when the profits are less and you're putting the work, branding like crazy. It might not seem it, but it will come inevitably, and it's going to be a secure way and not,
It's going to be more satisfying too.
It's more satisfying, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Anything else? You want to chat a little bit?
No, hope people took the points. I hope we explained it well. But yeah, that's it from us.
Awesome. And we do. I'm also posting those blogs as well. If people like to read, get a little bit of more, how do we say, practical. There's also a blog at the franchise.wingsmobile.detailing. So the blog is pages there. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.